We are live, by the way, Paul. We are live.
Why aye, Big John? Why aye?
I just can't believe what's going on. I really can't believe. I've just got this little video up of TikTok and listen to what this woman says. Hopefully it'll play. Right.
Oh, God, we're getting hell, eh?
Right. Come on, John.
Play that funky music.
So these are the scenes from Liverpool. Over 400 white people marched down to a hotel housing asylum seekers and set the place on fire. So this far-right group are not happy with asylum seekers being in the area and they want Britain to be for the British. Now, this had me thinking about whether Liverpool is historically the UK's most racist city. Now, during the transatlantic slave trade, over 40% of the city's income came from the slave trade. In fact, 1 in 5 boats that traffic...
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, most Scousers turned up after the Irish famine, and the slave trade had been dead for 50 years.
But I mean, so she's come out, 400 white people, they want Britain for the British, and she's not mentioned anything about child safeguarding or anything. And there's hundreds of things on the internet like this, and not just this, all the mainstream papers, Paul, you're just all far right in Knowsley. That's far right. Not one newspaper has mentioned that a girl was approached. And I've even seen videos where there's mothers in Knowsley saying that everyone had texts to tell the kids to be careful and all stuff. They've not even mentioned any of that. And historically, the Scousers don't have any good media attention, do they? Historically, we can go back to
we know this, John. This is the way the media control the narrative is to just saturate you with lies, just constant lying, and they're all unanimous in this lying. The BBC will lead it, the Labour Party, but I think this time they've committed a massive own goal because these are just ordinary people, and everybody knows this is a real issue. It's been going on for years. Tommy Robinson and who was the lass in Rotherham? Maureen. What was her name?
Maureen Guest.
Marlene Guest. She exposed the grooming gangs in Rotherham. This has been going on when Labour were last in power. That's before '97. So that's what's that? 16 years ago almost. There was an epidemic of abuse of white girls in this country by Muslim grooming gangs. I mean, Sarah Champion, the Labour MP, she came out with a figure of 1 million girls. So this is deep in the British psyche now. We know what these people are like. And these people haven't come here for asylum. What a lie that is to start with. They come here to freeload. They come here for our money and an apartment and an easy life and to build up the Islamic Ummah and for sex. They're high testosterone lads and they want sex and they're preying on our kids. And we all know it, John, and they can't lie about that.
We can't, but apparently they're all doctors and engineers and all that. So if they're that clever, they would already know that you can't do that with kids. So what's going on, Paul? Please tell me.
Well, this is about the destruction of the working class in Britain. It seems like, I mean, all these middle class people, they won't accept that the middle class have an integrity of their own and that we look after our children. We're not rabble. We respect our children. We respect other people's children. And we like to live in settled communities. But they've dumped these people in a Sweets Hotel on Knowsley. They've dumped people there because basically it's a Labour seat. I mean, the Tories are complicit in this. Because up the road in Pontons, in Ainsdale, they were going to dump 3,000 more of these bogus asylum seekers, but the Tory MP kicked off big style and stopped it. So the Tories listen to other Tories, but they won't listen to the Labour people. I mean, this is a strong Labour constituency. So these people need the Labour Party to speak up for them, to speak up for their rights. And what did the Labour Party do? They shit on them. The Labour Party are monsters, John. They're only interested in power and money. They're absolute monsters.
I just want to show you something that's I've been sent to me from Ireland. Girls to stay indoors after 6 p.m. until further notice. New arrivals to the area are not accustomed to Irish cultural norms at this transitionary time. Thank you for your compliance. And the group that's done it has put a thing on the bottom there, and someone's checked, and that's what they've done. Them are the leaflets, and it's a nice, thick, glossy leaflet. You know what I mean? It's just a joke, Paul. I can't believe what's going on.
Well, John, they're being projected. The predators, the stalkers, the child abusers, they're being projected as the victims in all this. And somehow we're responsible because we can't adopt to their culture. In their culture, having sex with children is not unusual. I mean, they marry child brides. We know that Islam does not have no lower limit on sex, so they can have sex with kids. But that for us is shocking because we treat our kids with respect. We treat our animals with respect. We treat our neighbourhoods with respect. And what are the government doing? Putting these people in the midst of our neighbourhoods. What are they doing, John? That is total disrespect to the people of Knowsley and to the families in Knowsley. And they just went. They went to the police initially. They went to the Labour politicians, and they were fobbed off, and they were treated like scum. But people won't allow their children. This is what Tommy Robinson was all about, the English Defence League. We will not allow our children to be preyed on. This is what the reconquest of Spain was all about. The Muslims conquered Spain, but then started abusing the kids. And that's why the Spanish fought back. You go too far here when you start abusing kids. Yeah, they've taken our money. They're after our social housing. They want to run our neighbourhoods. They're crime gangs. They're running the cannabis market now. They're growing all the skunk in the Albanian crime gangs. We know all that. We don't like it. But when they start preying on the kids, it's a step too far. We will react to that. And this is what we're seeing. It was just ordinary people. And the left committed a massive own goal. Because instead of respecting the fears of ordinary people, they mobilised against the ordinary people. The left turned up. It wasn't patriotic alternative who turned up. It was the left. It was Anti-Fat and Unite who turned up to bully the local parents. What a gang of idiots. And they don't think the people at Kirby are going to react to that. Kirby's a Scouse town. Don't think Scousers are left wing, John. Scousers are ordinary, decent people, and they're not woke at all. They believe in boundaries, and if you step over the boundaries, they'll push back, and they'll push back hard. And I don't think the police can intimidate us. Criminalising dissent, no, that's not going to work. And that was shown there when they set fire to the police van. Look, the police have got to do their job and stop these people, get them out of the neighbourhood. It's the politicians. I feel sorry for the police, really, because they're the pigs in the middle. The politicians are abusing the police by saying you've got to police the local community. It's absolute nightmare, John.
Well, I've heard. On TikTok, a mother come on to said that since the incident, all the schools sent out texts to all the mothers' phones and that. But then I'm hearing unconfirmed reports that the guy was picked up, then just released again. So, obviously everyone's going to be angry. Everyone's going to be upset. Their mothers are going to be upset. I would be. And this guy's already talked to one girl on the street. Now, if there's no, if he doesn't have to account for anything, what stops him going out again doing the same thing? You know what I mean? We don't have any deterrent. We don't have any deterrent to these people. As in the rape gang cases, as you know, a lot of them get off with low sentences, and they've lied all the way through, and they get low sentences. And it's just not good enough to tell people that you don't do that, otherwise you're going to get convicted. It's just a joke.
Well, they're provoking the local people, aren't they? They're really spitting in the face of the local people and saying, look, we're not concerned about your concerns. We're just going to play with you and pretend we are. But don't forget, John, when the last Labour government was in, when parents went to the police to complain that their kids are being kidnapped by these grooming gangs, and were being the victims of multiple sex attacks, and were being pumped with drugs, the parents went to the police for help. And what did the police do? They arrested the parents. They didn't just fob them up, John. They intimidated the parents. This was the last Labour government, and people remember this. And people are apprehensive that this is what we're going to go back to. We're going to go back to this Labour regime, which allows our kids to be used and abused by these foreigners. And there's a fear there, John. There's a legitimate fear, because it's happening not just in Knowsley, we know. We've just heard about this rape of a girl in Dover by these Afghan lads. Apparently, there was a rape in Liverpool city centre last weekend, again by an asylum seeker. Remember when we all went to Sunderland? What was that, Chelsea? She was raped by asylum seekers. It's happening every day. Crimes, stabbings. And you watch the news from Ireland, there's constant stream now of stabbings and race. The Irish now are up in arms, John. They've had enough of it because it's a shock to them. The Irish are living in these little isolated villages, and suddenly they're dumping Somalis and Eritreans and Albanians on them. And these people, as I say, they come here for three things: sex, money, and an easy life. And they're taking advantage of the local people. And people are up in arms. And the left have got to wake up and stop talking nonsense about this, as if somehow we're the abusers and we're in the wrong. We're the victims here. And the left should not be stopping the ordinary people from expressing their fears. The left should, they're legitimate fears, and they need to be addressed. The left have no respect for our communities. They're totally disconnected from the working class. I mean, Unite the Union turn up. They're just professional rabble-rousers. Yeah, I'm an ordinary Scouser, John. I'm as Scouse as the River Mersey. I know how the people of Liverpool feel, John. I've lived in this city for 60 years, and I'm part of this city. I was in the city centre over the weekend with local people, and local people are up in arms about what's happening. They're not buying any of the rubbish. The Scousers are united in this, John. We're not putting up with this. And it doesn't matter what narrative the media spin, we're impervious to it. We will not put up with our kids being abused by these people. Full stop. And it's a reality. It's not a fiction.
So I just want to point something out that somebody said that this person has been spotted during the trouble the other day. Just let me get a picture of her up. And this is a Unite the Union employee, ladies and gentlemen, who works with probably councillors and all sorts like that. Let me just get her. Michelle Smith. And this person has been spotted in Knowsley, and she's a convicted rock thrower in Dover. The Dover trouble quite a few years ago when the first immigrants come over, and she's been spotted. Nasty piece of work, this one, guys. Nasty piece of work. Michelle Smith, paid trouble causer. That's what she is.
She's a psychopath, John. She's known locally. She's in Unite the Union. She attacks people. What was going on in her mind to think she could go to Kirby and shout at Kirby women? I'll tell you, the Kirby people, Kirby people are rock hard, mate. I was a boxer, right, for 10 years, and I had some tough fights. Whenever you got a Kirby lad, they were the hardest guys you'd ever fight against. Kirby ABC, Knowsley ABC, tough lads. And I had some cracking fights with the Kirby lads. And John, I always won. Because I was tougher than them. But the thing is, John, this woman went to Kirby and thought she could intimidate Kirby people. And she got a reaction. Unite the Union got a reaction. Anti-Fag got a reaction. You don't mess with the people of Kirby. I'll tell you that for nothing, John. They come out as a tribe. They're like the Irish. They're a tribal group, the people in Kirby, mate. And when they get scared, get away from it because they're ferocious. And even the police had to do a runner. The police have gone round now arresting people and trying to intimidate people. They won't intimidate the Kirby people of Kirby on this. And Huyton and Crocky. These are real Scousers, John, and they won't back down to any of this nonsense. I'm telling you that for nothing. They will not back down.
I also the police van that got burnt out and got left there. Members of the public have took the registration, and when they've searched it up, the day after, the police van were getting scrapped. It didn't have any tax on it till the day after, or it were ending the day after.
I think the police were shocked by the size of the crowd, John. 3,000 people turned up. You see, the people of Kirby and the people of Highton, they feel like they're under pressure here, that somehow they're being put against the wall. What is going on? If they want to impose on these communities all these military-age foreigners, right, who are from a different culture, who are here to take advantage, they should consult the local people first. Are you happy with this? And the local people are not happy with these people coming in amongst them and preying on their children. They should not dump them. This is democracy, John. The people want their voice heard.
You know, nobody's happy. The only person who in Oldham who's saying anything about this is me. No, none of the other independents say anything and stuff like that. And some independents in another group, I just find this out, they're only bothered about stuff in Oldham. So how are we going to solve the rape gang crisis that's going on nationally? You know, do we just think one time? And these are the people who are just going to get us, if we don't come together, and I mean town next to town next to town, we all got to come together. Otherwise, the rape gang thing will never be sorted out, will it? If we don't come together.
They can't suppress us, John. This is the point. They're trying to create this lying narrative now that somehow the victims are the villains, and it won't work because we got the social media now. There's huge groups now on WhatsApp, and of course we got Truth. It all got out on Twitter. It's on TikTok. It's on Facebook. People are communicating with each other across the country. We know what's happening, and we've had enough of it, John. And the people, I said Britain now is like a tinderbox. It's still winter, so people are still staying indoors, but the flames have already started. And I tell you, come spring, when the lads get on the street again and the mobs are on the street again, the government better watch out, because there's a feeling in this country that we're being abused here. I mean, the government have just fobbed off this issue of mass immigration and the asylum seeker invasion. They've admitted it's an invasion. They've said they're going to do something about it. They've done nothing. They've just kicked the can down the road. They've just gaslighted us. And people are fed up, John, because we won't live with this day in, day out. It's getting worse and worse. And of course, we've got our backs to the wall. We're in this cost of living crisis. The cost of food is through the roof. The cost of rent is through the roof. People's home values are starting to fall. People are feeling the pressure. So when these people turn up and get put in luxury hotels, the Sweets Hotel is a luxury hotel. The people of Britain are saying, what's going on here? This is our country. This is our money. These are our kids. Stop abusing us. Now, in the past, the left would have, the Labour Party would have a connection with working people and recognise that these are legitimate concerns. But now they've got no connection with working people. They're all professional sort of, you know, what could you call them, John? Professional sort of, you know, they just got jobs in the public sector, telling lies and milking the taxpayer, and they've got no connection with ordinary people. So people have lost respect for them. The Labour Party now is not the voice of the working man. There's no working men in the Labour Party.
There is,
you know, they're all a bunch of feminazis and cranks. They're all these woke lunatics.
Let me just go through the chat. So, guys, I'm supposed to read out one of my policies, but I did it the other day on immigration. I've just put the policy in the chat, and also I've just put our party donation link because we need money for leaflets. We've delivered around 1,800 leaflets around the Wirral. I've done a couple of thousand in Oldham. I've been up to Glasgow twice, handed out flyers up there on the street and on the train. And we've done a couple of thousand in Bristol as well. But we need more leaflets. So please, if you can donate anything, please do. The party link is there to our website link is there, and you can see our big section on refugees and immigration, which is the biggest section on our policies that we have. I'm not going to read it out; it'll just take too long. But please have a look at it, and please donate if you can. Thank you very much. But Paul, I just can't believe that the media have gone against the Scousers, and I don't blame the Scousers for rioting with what's happened in the past, with the media branding them with naughty words and stuff like that, you know, and it's wrong. It's wrong. How do Labour think that they're going to still win, branding their own people with politically correct words? And I haven't seen any MP or any councillor side with them. And to me, people of Knowsley and Kirkby, stop voting for the Tories and Labour. Vote for an independent or an independent party like ours. I'm hoping that we're going to get a few leaflets out around Knowsley and Kirkby before May's elections. So watch out for us. But I just want
in the last mayoral election, John, the Labour candidate, her vote collapsed. It was half of the normal vote. Labour used to get to about 60,000 in the mayoral election. She got 30,000, and the Independent got 23, 24,000. It was a close-run thing. Labour is no longer connected with the working people in Liverpool now. It's, as I say, it's become this caste of public sector liberal elitists who really don't like working people. They don't understand us. They're all feminists and globalists, and you know they're all a waste of space, really. So, but the thing is, there hasn't been an alternative party in Liverpool, a people's party. I can see people standing forward in Kirkby simply as people's candidates, and in other parts of Liverpool, but what they're left to do, and this is another lie they're spinning about, is that somehow all this has been created by far-right groups who have triggered the ordinary people and misled the misinformation, the Independents said. As if, you know, there was no patriotic alternative there that night. That is just...
I know there were nobody. It was just normal. It was just the community that came out. There were no Britain First. There were no far-right people going there. I mean, even somebody's even accused James Goddard of going there and starting it. And he were at home, mate. Honestly, you know, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this labelling. And when I do come across the media again, this will be one of the things I'm saying to them, mate. I'll say, will you tell the truth?
The thing is, I talk to these lads, these local lads, right? And they totally are aware that the whole COVID nonsense was a complete scam. They're completely aware that the media now just lies through the teeth, tells a distorted narrative. They're completely aware that the politicians are bought and paid for. The politicians are only interested in lining their own pockets. So what these people say doesn't influence the people on the ground anymore, John. People on the ground are listening to each other through social media, and they're not stupid. This is the thing. They treat the people of Kirkby as if they're stupid, John.
Oh, no, it's wrong. Let me just have Vivian Could. In May, we'll have at least 3 running candidates. I'm not sure how many people are in the party. I don't do any of that side of it. But we'll have 3 running candidates in May. Possibly 4, but definitely 3. Pat has already run in 2 elections this year, and I've already run in 2 elections in Oldham. I'm on my 3rd election. Pat has to wait another 4 years for his election to come, but we're definitely going to be fielding at least 3 candidates. 1 in the Wirral, Oldham, and then down south.
The thing is, John, we've got like 20,000 followers at least on Twitter. Now, when this incident happened in Kirkby, I sent Pat an image, which I got very early on, of the police van on fire. He was the first to post it on Twitter. And that's last time I looked, that tweet had 500,000 views.
Oh,
that's the views we've got. 500,000. That's more than the population of Liverpool. It's gone global. So people are turning to us because they know we're just speaking the truth. We're saying what the reality is. They're not listening to. I mean, that 500,000 views. That's more than the BBC. That's more than the Daily Mirror. That's more than all these left-wing organs. Because people are looking for truth, and they know these mainstream organs are lying. They know the Labour Party is putting a lying twist on it. And this is what this, you see, the left think that ordinary people can be manipulated, that they're stupid, but they're not. You look at the social media posts, the lads, even the teenage lads, they know exactly what's going on, and they're not going to be cowed, John. And I tell you what, there's going to be a summer of discontent in this country.
Let me just go through chat again. Arlene, good evening, Arlene, and happy Valentine's, love. Pat Sin, Bennis, Kate, Lady J, hope you're all right. Vivian, thank you for them. What you said there. Serena, I love. Craig's in, good man, top man. I see Martin. Martin is at T-Bay. Mark Williams, Martin Ellen. Thank you. Si in London. Yes, mate. The Roch, how are you, mate? I hope you're all right. Marcus Crass, all right, pal. Who else is there? Right, I think that's about it for now. But again, ladies and gentlemen, we need some money for leaflets. You know, if you want to support somebody who's doing something, we're doing something. We're running in local elections. We're showing our faces across the country. We're running in candidates in local elections. And even if you want to look at what we can do running as candidates, already me running in Oldham and being a confident person, I've put the shitters on the Labour Party and everybody else. And I call them all out. And now some of them are doing the same thing as me now. They're coming on my way, but they're still politically correct. I'm not afraid of contacting the police or any kind of official, as you would see in the Mers question time and the chief of police, where I call them sex offenders. So we are worth to donate to. So I'll put the donation link in again, and I want people donating. Please, come on. Hopefully, this next week, we've got a meeting in Bristol, and I'm hoping on Saturday that we're going to be doing a charity haircut on Arlene's head, on Arlene's hair. So we'll want donations then, but we're going to do it on the Rev's channel, hopefully. I've got to contact the Rev and finalise the details. But carry on, Paul. But, you know, I just hope that Scousers start voting differently now. I really do. I know the Labour Party, when we went to the conference, one of the facts of the Labour Party, 2 years ago when Corbyn were in, or 3 years ago, they had 600,000 members. Corbyn left, and now they're only just scraping 100,000 members. And Labour votes have been dropping. They're losing votes across the board.
You've got to realise we've got a very unpopular Tory government, and we're in the midst of a recession. But Jeremy Corbyn got on Twitter and he abused the people of Liverpool, called them far right again, and all these nasty labels. And they just want to stigmatise the people. When we don't act like they're sheep, they turn on us. They're like wolves, John. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. They pretend to be of the people, but they're our biggest enemy. And they're out to destroy us. They're out to wreck our lives and our communities. This is what the left are doing. Because the left are not ordinary people. They're all twisted, they're perverted people. And we, as we are the real spokespeople, the real tribune of the ordinary people. I mean, I was in the Labour Party a long time ago, John, in the early 80s, when it was a working class party, and there was a lot of guys, just ordinary people in it. That's all gone now. That's why you don't get any sanity from the Labour Party. And, of course, Labour's had a big lead in the polls, and everyone thinking, oh, Labour are the foot into the government. Here's Tony Blair again. But people are looking at the Labour candidates now. I mean, that one in West Lancashire, she's a proud lesbian, a lesbian partner who she calls her husband has died, I think, of cancer, so that's a bit tragic. But anyway, she's another proud lesbian on the Labour ranks. And these people are set apart, John. They're not integrated into the community at all. They don't have kids to worry about. I mean, you know, they don't have families like, you know, we've got young kids to worry about and grandchildren. or nieces, and they might have nieces and nephews, but they're not really focused on ordinary people. They put these foreigners on a pedestal. They treat them as if they're the genuine asylums, genuine refugees coming from war-torn countries. We know where they're coming from. They're coming from France. There's no war in France. And the guy they interviewed at the hotel, in the Suites Hotel, he was from Egypt. And there's no war in Egypt. And they're coming from, they're just Albania. There's no war in Albania. They're all fake refugees. They're all phonies. They're there just to take. And they're taking advantage of us. And the police, I feel sorry for the police, but the police have got to show respect to the local community. Stop fobbing us off. Take our concerns seriously. The police have still not been fully held accountable for what happened with all the grooming gangs. The police got away, literally, with murder, because a lot of girls were killed by these grooming gangs. The police got away with sanctioning mass rape in this country. And what did Gordon Brown say when he was Prime Minister? He told the police... Go on, John.
He told the police to
don't get involved.
Yeah, and don't get involved, and then that's why some of the police ended up branding the girls prostitutes and stuff like that. It's just a joke, you know. And you know, I just want to say about the rape gang issue. If you think that you can just sort it out in your town, then it's done. It just doesn't work like that. It's gonna have to be a national thing to sort the rape gang cases out. So if you're thinking you're just going to sort it out in your town, it's never going to work, guys, because it's a national issue. It is not a single town issue. If it was a single town issue, we could sort it out, but it isn't. So just watch it, honestly.
When it first emerged, John, in the 1980s and then into the 90s, there wasn't much social media out there, if any. So people had to listen to the mass media narrative, and it was buried. It was brushed under the carpet. And these people were not taken to court. The police, the whole role of the police was to try to keep it quiet, trying to stop it creating social discontent. Because this sort of thing leads to an uprising, John, I'm telling you. As you say, it's all across the nation. Eventually, people cottoned on. It was the social media that gave people a chance to realize that this was happening in town after town. The bad experiences that families were going through. And don't forget, a lot of these gangs from Pakistan were bringing in heroin as well. They were pushing heroin in the communities. So they were becoming a real problem in communities. And it wasn't just local, isolated communities. It was right across the nation. And it was all credit to Tommy Robinson and the EDL. They steered the people on this issue. And I think that was one of the main reasons why Labour lost power in 2010, because people were really upset about this. And it could be a reason why Labour will not regain power. If Labour don't start speaking sense about these issues, people won't vote for them, John. You're saying put up independents, local candidates. People simply won't vote for them. They'll look elsewhere. Now, the Tories are trying to fob us off on these issues. Labour are trying to pretend that they don't even exist. And of course, the Liberal Democrats are just on another planet. They're a bunch of absolute idiots. So we need new voices. We need a new force in this country, a new political force that speaks for the people. Speaks for the people, a genuine people's party. And that's what the National Housing Party of the UK is all about. We're there just to say to the people, we're here to give you a voice. You see, the housing is another big issue here. The left is saying now, why are they putting these people in hotels? Why don't they just put them direct into social housing? There is no social housing. There's queues a mile long to get into a council house. People have waited for years and years. And the idea that these people are going to jump to the top of the housing list, and of course they are, get our flats and get our homes, and we're left homeless. We're left living in cramped accommodation. We're left living in substandard private accommodation, while these people who've never contributed a penny, who don't belong to this country, who've lied to get into this country, and these charities, so-called charities, the non-government organizations, What a rabble and a racket they are, John, bringing these people in and then forcing them on the local communities and then making sure that they get the primary access to housing and to welfare services. Again, they're abusing the working people of this country. It's our welfare state. It doesn't belong to the world. It's our government. Our government is supposed to look after us like a father looks after his family. It's not there to look after the whole world. And this nonsense has got to stop. And even though all these left-wing media outlets and the globalists backed by Soros are pushing these lies, it's not going to work this time, John, because people are up against the wall with this recession. We're not going to be bought off. They haven't got the money to buy us off this time, John. And people are in rebellion mode. And I tell you what, it says in the Bible, you sow to the wind, you reap the whirlwind. They've lied to us and they've cheated us for years. They've sown to the wind, and the whirlwind is stirring in this country, John. And it's not because of us. It's not because of far-right agitation. It's because people have no reality. They know they're being taken for a ride. They know they're being abused. They know their taxes are being collected and given to foreigners. Everything this government is doing now, billions poured into the Ukraine in a futile war, billions, tens of billions wasted on the whole lie, the whole scamdemic, tens of billions wasted on the climate hoax, and now billions upon billions. Don't forget, 1 million immigrants coming to this country last year in the third world. Billions are being poured into these people's lives, and it's our money. And they're saying to us, we haven't got money for you. You know, if you're a nurse or you're working, we haven't got money to give you a proper wage rise. People are feeling the pressure, John. They're feeling the pressure, and they're not prepared to accept the nonsense anymore.
No, they're not. They're not. They're definitely not. You know, and I mean, just near where I live, and I talked to her today. There's a house of multiple occupation, and so I seen a woman today at the window, and I glanced at her and just like pointed her out, showed her my ID. She come to the door. I said, "Please don't tell me that you live there with your little girl. Is it a little girl?" And she went, "Yeah." Well, how come you haven't got an house? There is no houses. And so this is a mother and a little girl. I don't know if there's any other partner. I don't think just on her own. She's in a house of multiple occupation. Above her, 2 flats to the right is a smackhead. And then the flat underneath there are alcoholics. And there's a little kid and a woman there. And it's in the town centre. So it's not a family area. There's all shady shops and little ginnels. And it's just a dangerous area. You know what I mean? And she's living there. So my next step, and I asked her, I'm going to talk to her and have a bit of an interview with her, you know, and ask what I think. But this is across the board. But then our citizens are being put last and everyone else is being put first. You know what I mean? And it's just wrong, innit? It's just wrong on every level. No wonder there's so much animosity between different groups in the UK because of what our government done. Like you said, it's their fault. It's not our fault. Just the same as I blame Oldham Troubles. I never blame the Pakistanis and I never blame the white people. I blame the council because they never dealt with the issues when they came up. They never fairly dealt with the issues when they came up. After the riots, they give the Muslim community £9 million. And the grants they give the white community were just a couple of 100,000. You know what I mean? Now, you know, how can we say that there's going to be no animosity when people see them kind of details? You know what I mean? And it's a council. It's an absolute council and the failures. And, you know, I bet in a lot of cases, the GA's report into Rotherham, the Telford report, in all these reports, what did it tell you? It told you that the council knew what were happening from the very beginning. From the very beginning, not halfway through. They didn't realise at the end. They knew what were happening from the first case. And Chief Inspector, Telford Police, 40 years evidence they've got. And it's just a joke, Paul. And it's fucking hell.
John, We're talking now about little girls. We're talking about young girls who are very naive, who can be groomed and exposed to this evil. And these girls suffered mass rape, John. Some of them being traumatized for life. Some of them committed suicide. Some of them were murdered. They were injected with heroin. And the police knew it was happening. The police did nothing. They tried to cover it up. It's shameful, John. It's one of the most shameful episodes in the history of this country. But what it shows is that nobody speaks for the white working class anymore. The Labour Party just doesn't listen. It won't listen to them. It won't represent them. So when we're looking for someone to address these terrible failings, I'm talking about now about housing. I'm talking now just about political representation. It's not there, John. We're the excluded ones. And yet the foreigners are coming in and they're getting top lawyers to represent them. They don't apply for their benefits themselves. The lawyers do it on their behalf.
That's
they
right,
don't
yeah.
apply for housing by themselves. They have charities, so-called charities, non-government organizations who get them their social housing. They're being privileged in our society. And we're being not only disprivileged, we're being pushed to the side. And unless we find our voice again and reassert ourselves, we'll be pushed to oblivion, because these people really, they just don't care for us, John. They're not fair-minded people. They won't respect that we are the indigenous people of this country. We're the people who have built this country. We're the people who've been born here and raised here. And this is our country. We've got to reassert that. And this is what the National Housing Party of the UK is all about. We're saying we're standing up for ordinary people. We're standing up for the ordinary working class man, woman, and child in this country. And you need the voice, guys. So we've got this vehicle. Get on board. Join up. I can't quite see that, John. Just put it into. Bring it close. That's a National Housing Party. Yeah. Where'd you get that?
A yellow vest. We've got 6 of them.
Oh, excellent.
National Party on.
Yeah. Now, people might say, we're just a small acorn, but a small acorn can grow rapidly into a mighty oak. And because we're needed, people are listening to us, John. We're getting a big response. As I say, we got 500,000 tweets over the disturbances in Kirby, over the Suites Hotel. 500,000 for one tweet. So people are listening to what we say because we're just speaking the truth. We're just speaking common sense. Let's get back to common sense and being realistic. The whole problem with the left is all they do is lie and manipulate. They bring in these phantoms like the far right, or I don't know, all these so-called agitators. I mean, that clip you showed right at the beginning there, they start to attack the people of Liverpool over the slave trade. Hang on a second. The people of Liverpool weren't here during the slave trade. We came over from Ireland. We came up from North Wales. We came down from Scotland in the second half of the 20th century. That's when Liverpool became a big city. When the slave trade was going on, the population of Liverpool was in the tens of thousands. Liverpool became a city of over 1 million people. So don't start pointing the finger at Scousers and being derogatory about the people of Liverpool as somehow we're nasty, warped people. We're not. We're fair-minded people. We believe in common sense. All we want is fairness. That's all we want. And it's not too much to ask for. And I tell you what, you treat us like scum, we'll bite back. We showed at Hillsborough, right, John, that we don't give up. When we've got a legitimate case, we will fight until it's resolved.
Good.
We have a strong sense of fair play in this city. And if we're being abused, we're not going to take it. And if they think that they can intimidate us, they can criminalize us, it's not going to work. They're going to have to address the issue. We don't want these people dumped on our communities because we know there's a danger involved in it. They haven't come here for asylum. Stop lying to us. They've come here to get what they can, to abuse us and to use us. And they're not doing it to our children. Full stop.
Thank you, Danny West in there. Yes, Alistair, I hope you're all right. Thanks for coming on. And I think Pat's answered your question there. They do want more immigration, and they're all right with refugees and that. And we're not all right with anything like that. And there isn't any other party except for ours who wants to like completely end permanent settlement. Right. So thank you in the chat, everyone. Thank you in the chat. I think I've got oh yeah, that's me just posting. Again, guys, please, we need leaflets. So please get donating to us. Remember, you're not donating to any grifters because these people are actually out on the streets almost every week, knocking, delivering leaflets or whatever. I've been to Glasgow twice and handed out at least 300 leaflets, and starting to get a bit of a base up there with people who know me well and see the stuff I do, and they all like it. So yeah, come on, please, people, donate.
How much do these leaflets cost, John?
Well, we paid 600 quid for 20,000 of them recruitment leaflets. It was around that much. And we're hoping to get another 20,000 of them besides our running leaflet as well. You know, our leaflets, my leaflet, Gary's, and Callum's leaflet. So please donate, people. Definitely worth every penny, me. And I've told you this a million times. Good evening, Peter. Hope you're all right. David Miles, thank you, mate. Support real activists. When am I next in region? Oh, I don't know. Sketch, not sure. I've got a meeting in Bristol next week, and after that, I've got to stay up here and be door knocking. Can't be going off anywhere else. I have a bit of time tomorrow, and I was thinking of getting down to the Wirral, but I just want to go to Knowsley and film some stuff at Knowsley. That's what I just want to go to Knowsley.
Hey, let me know when you're going to Knowsley, John. I'll come. We'll do a little film. But because what we've got to do now is look to the future, John. What's going to happen? I mean, there's talk there's going to be another big rally this Friday of the local people, because the now got a daily vigil at the hotel, and the local people are not going to let this go. You know, what the authorities hope is that it will all die down, and then everything will go quiet, and they can just leave these bogus asylum seekers in peace. But it's not going to go away. These people are on the streets, and they're coming in every day. There's over 100 coming in every single day in Dover alone, and they're coming in by boats and trains and planes. Last year, 1 million immigrants coming to this country, and they're being dispersed all over the country. The housing isn't there for them now. It's not there for us. It's not there for them. There's nearly 600, John, hotels across the United Kingdom which have been totally taken over by these foreign invaders. And these people are just letting loose on local communities.
I don't know if you've seen the media today about the 4 lads who've been arrested for raping a 15-year-old girl at a school in Dover.
Oh, yeah. It's every day, John. And the vast majority of it is brushed under the carpet. Yeah, unless definitely. It's really blatant and really vicious, the police turn the blind eye. How do you think this is going to go in the future, John? How do you see it developing in Kirby and across the country? And I'm talking now, not in the long term, in the short term. How do you think it's going to develop?
There's going to be more people outside the hotels. And I mean, I don't mean to be bad, but like something bad will happen if it's going to continue like that. It won't be particularly one person. It'd be like the Kerr for Cali pushing everyone, you know, to be bad. But I don't think it's going to go away. Let's just wait now. If it happens somewhere in Manchester, Bolton and Blackburn, I bet everyone there will start kicking off more than they have done before. So, I think this is a big push to showing people now that people are just going to stop voting for their mainstream parties as well. They are, because I'm sure that the people round Knowsley, if their Labour MP hadn't come out stuck up for him and sided with him, they're just not going to vote for him next time. That's why I should be in Knowsley handing out some of my leaflets.
The thing is, John, people are saying that what's happened in Knowsley, it's at the Suites Hotel, I think it's Prescott, isn't it? Somewhere in between, has set a precedent that people across the country now are going to start doing these vigils outside of hotels. But the truth is, it's Ireland that set the precedent. We've all been watching on the social media what's been happening in Ireland over the last 3 months, and the demonstrations there, the size of them, and that people want these issues addressed. Ireland has really been the spark which is going to set this country alight. Now, I know that Tommy Robinson is on his way to Ireland, and it's not going away. You see, the government over there have tried to demonise the demonstrators again. They try, and the Antifa and and their lefty mobs, non-governmental organisations, they've attacked the demonstrators. They've tried to rip banners off them and flags and thrown things at them. But again, this has just triggered more demonstrations. What are the left up to here, John? What are the left trying to do? Are they trying to trigger the British people into rebellion? What are the left trying to do?
They just want to bring down the West and pull in the communism and the socialism. That's what they want to do. And they're acting. They are the Nazis of the 23rd, the 22nd century. They are the Nazis. Nobody I know on the right comes even close to the kind of stuff that the left do. Either cancel us, burn our books, rip up our banners. That's all that's what you want to call Nazism, if you want to call it. That's
a lot of them have come from the Trotskyite movements. The communism has its own tradition of violence, street violence. But what gets me, John, is that at this time the left are attacking ordinary working class people. Don't they realise what effect that will have? Don't they realise that people will see them now as the enemies? The Labour Party is now the enemy of the people. The left is the enemy of the people. The left always claim to stand up for the underdog, but they're not. They're actually the foot soldiers of the globalist establishment. They're stamping on ordinary people. They're stamping on those who haven't got representation in this country, sort of the marginalised working class. The left are abusing them, and they're trying to pretend that it's actually a war on the far right, and it's just a total fiction. It's an attack on ordinary people and trying to destroy ordinary families, ordinary children. It's an attack on normality, isn't it? We've seen it with the whole woke agenda. This is an attack on normality, and what we want is to maintain what is normal and what is sane. That's all we want, and it's the government pretends to be on our side, but does nothing. So this is a kick up the backside of the government. If the government doesn't act soon, they'll be falling as well. It's a kick up the backside of the Labour Party because they have stood in favour of they put all these sort of foreign abusers on a pedestal, and they've stood against local people, and it's a real negative for the left, for the unions, Unite the Union, Antifa, and all them. These people, they're very, very sad people, John, and they're there attacking the Kirby mothers. It's got to be the lowest of the low, and they won't even confess to it.
Yeah, that's them, innit? And but it's mad how I think there's only GB News might have mentioned about this girl, but they haven't put the video up or anything. I don't know why they haven't put the video up. It's out on social media, so it's not a banned video or anything, and nobody's saying anything. You know what I mean? So, and I think this is a pinnacle now that we've come to that rise now. And the government are up here with the refugees. They're going to start going down soon because we'll be pushing them. We'll be pushing them down. right back down and was saying, right, well, we're not voting for you. It's going to be really interesting in the mayor's elections, Paul, who people don't get voted for. There's independents running as members of parliament all over the country, mate. And that's quite unheard of, but there is people running as in the MP sections wanting to be an MP, and they're just working class people. But on a big push, the vote is going to be destroyed and all changed over the next couple of years. I tell you it will. But it's just unbelievable, Paul. I want to say one thing, though. If anyone's watched the video of that young girl, that is how we want our young girls brought up, to where they're confident enough to tell somebody that they can't do that, to tell somebody that they get sent to jail and get a conviction. And if you notice, the girl wasn't hysterical. She never got angry, and she was well prepared. So parents and might be a school have done a really good job on teaching her how to keep herself safe and stuff like that. And
that was filmed, John, right? So we saw that. But there's a lot of girls who aren't that confident.
No, yeah,
a lot of girls are very naive as well, and they when someone shows them some affection, they'll take it as in a positive way, and they'll be misled. I mean, I remember the film Taken. Remember that, where they said we'll invite you to a party, but the party was not what the girls expected. It's really, hopefully the girls know that what they face, but we've seen in the past, haven't we, that vulnerable girls can be exploited. These are clever people, and they're not action. And then that one we saw in Knowsley was actually not typical, because they work in gangs. They're ruthless. And they're very clever. Initially, I mean, they offered when they were doing the groomings in the likes of Rotherham and Rochdale and Keighley and places, they were plying the girls, weren't they, with perfume and with gifts and free cigarettes and free drugs. They were winning them over. You see, they were buying them, seducing them, lowering their guards, and then they were dragging them off and turning them into drugged up prostitutes. It was really gross, John. And the fact that we can't discuss this openly when our kids are so vulnerable is a disgrace.
It is.
That we've been shut down so much. And the mass media is just a joke. But thank God for social media, John. Thank God for the National Housing Party. Thank God for the great Big John Lawrence. And we've got a platform to speak the truth. And they won't keep us silent. Because what I'm saying here is being spoken by millions of people across this country. It's on WhatsApp, it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's in the pubs, it's in the streets, it's at the local stores. I'm speaking to ordinary people every day, John, and they all know now. They know the reality of the situation, and they want it addressed, or they will address it.
Have you spoke to anyone who's from Kirby or Knowsley?
Yeah. I've spoken to people. And they tell me it's like a tinderbox. They won't put up with it, the people in Kirby. The tough nuts, as I said earlier, John. You're not going to fob them off. You're not going to intimidate them. They want this. If this comes up again, they think it will all calm down and they let these people back on the streets again. It won't happen. My advice to the authorities is get these people out of the Sweets Hotel, because there's just going to be more trouble ahead. And get them out of every hotel in this country and stop them coming in. They're coming from France, send them back to France. It's time for the government to grow a backbone. They won't. If they can't stop them coming into our country, it's just going to create more and more chaos. We've reached the tipping point, John. This is the reality. And the tipping point is this: we have had enough, and we're now pushing back.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we've come to our hour. Thank you very much, Paul. And thank you, the chat. Again, please donate to us. We're doing things, which is more that I can say about other people. We're pushing forward. We're delivering leaflets. We're running candidates. If you're from Knowsley or Kirby and you want to get in contact with me, email me. I'll send you some of our leaflets. Anybody wants to take a few of our recruitment leaflets, you can do. Email me I need an address and that, and I will send you some of the leaflets up, and you can hand them out to between a few friends. Certainly, if you're from Knowsley or Kirby or Iton or anywhere in Merseyside, contact me and I'll show you a few leaflets. But honestly, if we start standing up to be counted, you'll soon see a change in all the government things. You'll soon see a change. You will, because they'll have to change when they see other people voting them in. And then they're going to be, you'll hear the Conservatives in 2 years because they know they're going to lose the next whatever. Right, well, we'll definitely stop immigration and they'll stop the boats. But we're not going to do that until we put pressure, until we start running as candidates and voting differently. So,
John, can I just finish? Can I just finish with the words of a famous Scouser? Power to the people. Power to the people. Right on. Singing power to the people. Power to the people. Right on. Go ahead, John, lad.
Is that Citizen Kane?
That's John Lennon.
John Lennon. Oh, God.
We love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. We love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. And with a love like that, you know you should be glad. See you, John.
All
Take
right,
care.
Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. Again, guys, please come on, donate, donate, donate. That's what we want. We are an active group, an active party, and we're running in elections. Obviously, we're doing local elections. I am going to concentrate on local things, but that grooming gang scandal is a national scandal. If you think that you can just sort it out in your town, it's going to go away. It's never going to be like that until we sort it out nationally. And as a national housing party, that is going to be one of our big things, is to get our teeth into the rape gang mess and sort it out. That's what we want to do as a party. As long as the other things, but that is one of our priority things as a party, is to sort out the scandal of this rape gang crisis and this rape gang epidemic. That the government, your Labour councillor, your Conservative councillor, your Lib Dem councillor, lots of other different parties, your Reform, they won't say nothing. They won't tackle it. They won't tackle it as parties, because it might be too damaging. Well, if it damages, I don't think it's going to damage my party. I'm going to think it's going to give it a lot of support. Again, the things I learned to do with child sexual exploitation and rape gangs, I'm going to use to go further. If we see a good blueprint like we've seen in Hull, then I want that produced all over in every town and stuff like that. But please donate to us. We're doing stuff, and as Blaze says, definitely don't vote for them mainstream parties. It's rewarding failure. Thank you very much.